Welcome, everyone, to the NBA Triple Double, powered by SportsMemo.com. We're going to give you a breakdown, a rather extensive breakdown, I might add, of 3 games on the Friday card. And I'm joined by my co-host, Ronald Cabang. He is the #1 reigning NBA expert at SportsMemo.com, having made over 80 units in profits for his clients. Welcome to the show, Ronald. We're going to get started right away here. We're going to take a look at the Thunder versus the Bucks. The Thunder are 6-8, 2-4 on the road. The Bucks are 7-8, 2-4 at home. The Bucks actually have not been playing well of late. They are 4-6 straight up over the last 10, only covering 3 of those games. But the under is 8-2, and a little background on OKC playing the first of back-to-backs with on the road with a visit to Boston scheduled Saturday night. They've won 5 of 7, 7 of 10 straight up, 7-3 against the spread, and they too are an under team, 8-2 to the under. So I'll let you start breaking down this game and telling us where you think there's opportunity.
Yeah, like you mentioned, the Bucks haven't looked good this season, but I think it's mainly due to the injuries that they've been having to deal with, right? I think Brook Lopez is still going to be out today, but Middleton had his first game back, a few days ago, and Middleton, Drew, and Giannis, them 3 back together is kind of that's going to be a big boost for the Bucks here, and for what I believe is going to be a pretty big run coming up to get their record up to show that they're one of the elite teams again. Middleton definitely looked rusty against the Lakers, and I think this is going to be a bounce back game for him. And in my opinion, I think the Thunder are a pretty overrated team based on the record, and they're coming off a double-digit win, but it was against the Rockets. I think they've won 5 of their last 7, and yep. I really don't think they're as good as what their 6-8 record suggests. They're 29th in the league in offensive rating, and in multiple other offensive categories, they're also in the bottom 3 or 5 in those categories as well, including field goal percentage, 3-point field goal percentage, true shooting percentage, effective field goal percentage. So I looked back at their schedule, and I think they're just catching teams in bad spots, and they're sort of getting lucky here. They're also dead last in the league in assists per game. And I think you mentioned too that they have this is the first of a tough 3-game road trip for the Thunder. I think the line is large here, but I think it's for good reason. I definitely think Middleton bounces back. He only shot 4 for 12 in that game against the Lakers, and Giannis is going to be Giannis. I don't think there's anyone really on that Thunder team that could guard him right now. So I know the line is large, and the Bucks haven't been covering at home. I think they're 1-5 against the spread at home, but I think with the 3 of them together, and they got a game out of the way, I think they could cover this large number. And on the total side, you mentioned the kind of the streaks that they have on the under here. And like everybody else, everyone's been hitting the unders this season. But the Thunder specifically on the road, they're 6-0 to the under, and the Bucks at home are 6-0 to the under. I wouldn't call the under here a legit play right away. I think I want to make sure the number's right, just because Middleton's back. Those unders were probably with all those injuries going on. So I strong lean to under, and I really do like the Bucks in the spot here in this game.
Yeah, I'm leaning that way too. I'm a little bit focused on the total. And as we know, the NBA has started off a massive trend where just blindly betting the under has done very well. It's like 60.7% as of through last night. It was 65% in October. Obviously, it's going a little bit lower in November. We mentioned that it possibly was bottoming out like a stock chart does after a correction. And I don't know if it's time yet. I actually don't think it is. And my question for you, Ronald, is I'm going to read off some team trends here.
Hmm.
OKC all games 11-3 to the under. And by the way, OKC's win over Houston was the first time all season in their 14 games that they were a favorite, and they were only favored at home by 3 points. So to your point about being just a tad, just a touch maybe overrated, OKC is an underdog, 10-3 to the under. In road games, 6-0 to the under. November, 7-1 to the under. After allowing 105 or fewer points, 6-1. When playing against a team with a losing record, which is hard to believe Milwaukee has a losing record, but they do, 6-0 to the under. And Milwaukee, the same thing. Home games, you said they're 1-5 against the spread. They're also 6-0 to the under. And I mean, does that make you want to play the under, or is it just so overwhelmingly to the under that you want to be a little contrarian?
Man, sometimes sometimes it feels like that, right? Like majority of the teams have a positive under record. But just like I mentioned right now, with Middleton coming back and the three of them, finally getting together, they got one game out of the way. I want to see another game to see how the offense, does. I think, in general, just because the Thunder, they can't shoot well, and if the Bucks play this game with a fast pace, and the Thunder have to try to keep up by shooting the ball or having to try and score, it's going to be tough for them. I think, to me, this matchup specifically is a Bucks matchup. I think they dominate this game from tip off to the buzzer, to me. And the reason why I'm leaning the under, but probably wouldn't take it, is just because I want to see another game with the three of them together. Because if they do dominate it, and the bench comes in, they could go back to the under, just because the bench will play a lot more minutes than we expect, or they want to get more time together on the court, and the coach says, hey, even though you guys are winning by this much, I still want you guys to get those reps in, because they haven't had that much time together during this whole season yet.
Yeah, and Milwaukee is throwing up a lot of 3-pointers this season, as are most of the NBA teams. They're making 35% of them, but OKC's 3-point defense is one of the worst. And you think, I'm going into potential player props when they come out later this afternoon. The fact that they are going against one of the weaker defensive 3-point defending teams, do you think there's an opportunity, like with the Middleton or even Giannis?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think they'll score more points just simply because of the opportunity to shoot more threes?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's a good look. Like you said, Middleton, Allen, even Drew, probably. For me, I still don't. I know Giannis has been shooting a lot better this season, but I still don't trust it yet. I probably wouldn't wait. I'd probably wait until like halfway point of the season to trust that Giannis's shooting is really improved that dramatically. The other thing that you could probably look at as far as player props is rebounds, right? If OKC does brick all these shots, right, and they don't have a huge presence in the post, the Bucks have a good shot at rebounding, a whole bunch of defensive rebounds and even those offensive rebounds.
Yeah, I like that idea. And I think you mentioned Brook Lopez. I think he's downgraded to out for Fridays. Mm-hmm. I was thinking of him, as a paint presence when Giannis isn't in, but he's not. He's obviously not playing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, I guess in summary, our lean is definitely Milwaukee and maybe a touch to the under, and then take a look at player props for above average offensive performance by some of those players that are good 3-point shooters on the Bucks. All right, good stuff. Let's move on to the next game. And I'll tell you, Ronald, any game right now that involves the Bulls, I want to watch if I'm not doing anything else, which is rare. But, I think tonight this is a game that I want to definitely tune into.
Yeah.
The Bulls are taking on the Denver Nuggets. And this is an excellent matchup of of non-conference matchup. Obviously the Nuggets are in the West, Bulls are in the East. The Bulls are 10-5, 5-3 away. Nuggets are 9-6 and 7-2 at home. So they are defending the home turf pretty good. But Denver's only a 3-point favorite, and the total's 209.5. Initially, my knee-jerk reaction would be that this might be a tough game for the Bulls to win or cover. I mean, it's only 3 points. But at the end of the day, playing the money line on the Bulls, it just feels like the right thing to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I played this Bulls team played the Blazers a couple of days ago, and I actually think I mentioned it in the show that they were probably going to look ahead to this matchup, because it is a key matchup. The Nuggets are one of the better teams in the league, and the Bulls, I feel like they still want to prove themselves that they're one of the more elite teams in the league. And like you mentioned, it's a non-conference game, but I feel like this is going to have sort of a playoff vibe to it. The Nuggets, they're coming off an embarrassing loss to a depleted 76ers team. And I feel like that kind of shows me that they were looking at this matchup as well. But I kind of lean the Nuggets here. They're typically a pretty good shooting team. They shoot over 46% from the field on the season, and they only shot 36% from the field against the Sixers, who's, I think they're one of the bottom 3 teams in the league in defensive rating. And you mentioned a lot how we should look at teams who shot over 50% from the field the previous game, and you would want to see sort of a letdown spot the next game. Well, in this situation, a team that normally shoots 46% that shot 36% in the previous game, we would probably want to see sort of a bounce back, right? And I think that's what the Nuggets are in this spot here. And there's also fatigue that could sort of play a role in this game for the Bulls too, because this is their last game on the road, and they had a tough 5-game road trip. Now that after this they go home to get some rest, but I think there's some fatigue in that side, and that could be a reason that they fall flat today. So on the side, I would lean the Nuggets in this one. I know you mentioned a possible play on the Bulls money line, but I don't know. It's tough for me to see that.
Yeah, and it's, to your point, Denver's playing on back-to-back nights, and I actually had the Sixers last night, and I was shocked to see that they actually won the game.
Yeah.
Let alone won the game by 14, and like, what the heck's going on there? Sixers shot 51%. The game before, Denver at Dallas, Dallas Mavericks shot 50%. So adding on to your point about the regression, 2 defensive performances by a very good Denver team of 50% or more. I mean, you got to think that the locker room is going to be a little bit more focused than it was last night. And it's a long marathon season, and maybe they just didn't take the Sixers seriously because they were missing Embiid again. And he's out that full 10 days too, by the way. And they have just getting this win, they could have gone 0-8 on this road trip easily. So that was a huge win for them, but it also might have been a wake up call for the Nuggets too. It's very, to your point, it's very rare you get a team like a playoff contender shooting 30% or shooting below 37.5% and allowing 50. I call that sleepwalking. Did they even remember playing the game? But and here again we have the situation with the unders, and I'm just so reluctant to pull the trigger on it, even though this game looks like it could be an under, despite the fact that we're thinking that the Nuggets are going to shoot a lot better than they did last night, certainly. But are they going to shoot enough to go over the total? I guess that is my next question. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean they're one of the slower paced teams in the league, and both are a top 10 defensive rating team. And like you said, like even if they do improve in the shooting off of that 36% against the 76ers, maybe there's not that many shot opportunities to where they reach the over. they could still hit 44% and still go under, because that's kind of what they've been doing. And at home, I think you mentioned they're 7-2 against the spread, I believe.
Against the spread, Denver is 7-8, and
Oh, sorry.
Chicago's 10-5 overall. But yeah, you're right. What you said for the home record is correct.
Okay, yeah, and then I believe they're 7-2 to the under in home games too. So, and that has to do, with where they play. So that, I mean, that could play a role in the under as well. I would still lean the under here.
Yeah, I mean, both teams have to score over 100 points, and that's not a given this year in the NBA. 209.5. I think totals that have been under 210 have done even better than the whole composite, which mathematically makes no sense. But that you get a matchup of two teams like that, and the total is under 210. That's telling you something.
Yeah,
So yeah.
Yeah, and that kind of goes with the whole idea that these two teams are gonna take it seriously, and the game's gonna be sort of looked at like a playoff game, because in the playoffs they play tighter defense. Every possession matters. So that total saying is telling me that this could go under.
And I'm looking at Billy Donovan trends here. He has a lot of them that are supporting the under as a road underdog in all games he's coached. 83 and 42 to the under. That's almost 67% right there. And that's over his entire career. Do you think there's any concern with Vukovic being out of the Bulls lineup tonight?
Yeah, they've been playing pretty thin in the front line, for a few games now. I think they've kind of adjusted to that. But I mean, Jokic he's just an animal, man. Like I feel like he's obviously going to be in the running for MVP again. The only thing that they could do is really, try to get the rest of the team to be the reason why the Nuggets win. But I think, I mean, it's tough. I mean, as much as you want to try and stop Jokic, I think it's just really hard to do. And that's kind of like why I was leaning towards the Nuggets as well. It's like they really are thin in the front line. As much as they've already adjusted to playing without him, without Vucevic, no matter who you put there, anyone in the league, they're going to struggle trying to stop Jokic.
Yeah, I agree. And I ran my first. There's two sets of models I run. I ran the first one, and it's revealing a high probability that both teams will score 108 or less. Okay, so that puts it at 216 max, but the line's 209.5. Mm-hmm. When Denver has played in games where both teams scored less than 108 or less, you'll love this record. They're 10-0 to the under this year, 45-0 to the under over the last 3 seasons in games where both they and their opponent did not score 108. Mm-hmm. I think we might have more than a lean here on the under.
Yeah, that's a good one, man.
Yeah. I mean that. Yeah, I mean that's pretty strong.
That. Yeah, that is very strong. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's move on to the last game here, which is another exciting game. We have the Suns, who are back to winning, and Mavericks are 9-5. Suns 11-3. Suns are at home where they're 6-2. Phoenix is an 8-point favorite over a pretty darn good Mavericks team. That shows how good the market is respecting Phoenix right now, and the over/under is 212. So another game where I look at 212 and the names are Mavericks and Suns, I think, oh my God, this is a gift. I got to go bet the over right now. But then it's 2021 season. And it's not last year, the year before. So wait, hold up. What's going on here? But anyway, Doncic is the leader again, 25 points per game. And of course, Devin Booker can go off for 50 in any given night. However, the spread of the offense on Phoenix is what I like. They have a lot more guys contributing. They have a lot more number of double-digit scorers on any given night, 5 and 6. I think they had one game where they had 7. So you would think that would be a 130-point Phoenix team, but it's not. And they are really playing pretty well in the offensive end. What do you think here, Ronald, on this matchup?
I believe Luka is out tonight, so that's a big blow to the Mavs team.
Good point.
Right, and they didn't. Luka wasn't in the game a couple of days ago because this is the second time that they're playing in a row, and both games will be in Phoenix. Obviously, you said the Suns are on a 10-game win streak, and so they're obviously one of the hotter teams in the league right now. And again to the under, right? Yeah, both of these team names scream over, but they're also and under trending teams. Suns are 5-3 to the under at home, and the Mavs are 5-2 to the under on the road. But more recently, when Luka was playing, the last 3 games that he played, they were actually trending on the over side. They hit 3 overs in a row before playing Phoenix, and then when Luka was out, then they went under, and they really struggled to score in the paint that game. And they nearly went under the total by double digit. I think it went under by 9 points, depending on your closing total there. But they were already one of the worst teams in the league as far as points in the paint per game. And without Luka, that just goes down even more, because there's really nobody that drives into the lane other than he does. And I know Brunson does a little bit, but he can't finish like the way that Doncic does either. So I think they're going to struggle trying to put points up on the board, because the Suns are one of the better defensive rated teams in the league. I think they're ranked 4th in defensive rating right now. And with Ayton back too, that kind of clogs the paint more. And I think on the offensive side of the ball for Phoenix, the Mavs can't really stop them. Ayton went 19-13 on Wednesday on 9 of 13 shooting, and most of those points were in the paint. So I think the Mavs are just struggling down low in the post, and for me that kind of gives me a lean towards the Suns again, and the under, based on those that information.
You read my mind, because I was thinking the same thing, and actually, I don't like the word parlay at all, but there's we have clients that do, and I don't play them, but on a blue moon, and I'll do the action reverse parlay. It pays 4-1, but it's you better win one of the two, because if you lose both of them, you get hammered. But I'm just looking at some of the over trends here. In all games for Phoenix, 10-4 to the under as a favorite, 9-3. What else do we have here? I can even tell you what they are on Friday nights, but that's meaningless. When they score less than the league average of 108 points. That's where that 108 comes from. 5-2 to the under. Then we look at Dallas, and to your point, they're starting to play a little bit more overs than they had. In fact, they're 4-2 over when facing a defensive team that's allowing less than the league average of scoring of 108. But I don't think Phoenix loses here. I think they just keep rolling, and they've gone under the total by more than 24 points in the last 3 games. You take that and combine a game with 2 winning record teams, and the ATS record for the home team is 61%. If it's a home favorite that is not anything less than a double-digit favorite, it goes up to 63.5% winners. So I do like Phoenix, and I think I like, if I had to choose between the side and the total, it would be Phoenix as a bet, and then a lean on the under, I think.
And again, too, Luka will be out, so there's a big difference in some of the records the Mavs had for the over. So that they're missing a lot of offense right there, and not only scoring wise, but also because he's able to kind of uh, uh, read the offenses, to read the defenses, and be able to kind of pass to the right people in the right times. He has that ability to do that. So they're missing a lot, not only scoring but in the assist side too. So that's another reason why, losing Luka is a huge downgrade on both the side and the total. Yeah,
it definitely is. And without them, they scored 98 in the loss 2 days ago to these Phoenix Suns. So this is the second of the two. I don't think they will reach 100 in this game either. So maybe like a lean to the team total on Dallas, I think, would make sense too. It's almost like betting Phoenix to win the game.
Mm-hmm.
But as a secondary thought. So I think that'll wrap up our show, Ronald. Unfortunately, we get to the end of these things, and I just want to go through every single game. But it is the triple double, and you and I are the double, and the triple is 3 games, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So make sure you guys, there's a special promotion going on, and I'll make this quick. Use the code CASH20, and you will get $20 more off an already 50% discount on our monthly NBA subscription. You can also apply it to the NHL, college hoops, NFL, which both of us are doing extraordinarily well with, college football. You can pick whatever sport or sports and pay just $79 for 30 days of our subscription, all access service for that sport. It truly doesn't get any better than that. And the Cash 20 is our way of saying thanks for watching the show and being loyal supporters of it. So that'll be a wrap for today. We'll be back Monday with another triple-double show. So on behalf of Ronald, myself, SportsMemo.com, and the triple-double show, may all the wins be yours. Have a great weekend, and thanks again for watching.